Hello, everybody. We'll wait just a few moments here as everybody starts rolling in. While people are rolling in, Amelia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm coming to you live from Sin City.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So not one of my favorite cities. Just I've been here a lot of times, but uh, last night I got to go to the Fremont Street experience. Never
Oh,
been.
yeah.
So that was
That's fun.
interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's fun and scary at the same time.
Yes, that's a very apt description. It's kind of like Times Square, only a little bit more extra, if you can believe that.
Right.
Um,
Times Square on steroids.
Indeed. So, but it was nice to try something new. Vegas is very, very expensive, obviously, and it's also
Right.
very people-y. So
Yeah.
I like to choose my community with quality, right, rather than just being around lots of people.
Exactly.
So
Quality over quantity.
that's right.
Absolutely.
That's why I do what I do. I get to hang out and spend my working days with all you quality people. So
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a few weeks that I've seen you. I think last was at DataCon in middle of September.
yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Well, we are here today. We're going to talk about helping clients comply with cyber insurance with these must-have security awareness training topics. And of course, our good friend Amelia Paro. I say Paro, I say Paro. I go, I mix it back and forth, and just like Tomaszewski, Tomajetski, ride a jet ski, So Amelia and I have been working together for a number of years now. Amelia is the channel development manager at ID Agent, and which is part of Kaseya. And I love working with you. You're a cool cat. You're not just like a vendor, because you were an MSP. You worked in an MSP before, which is pretty cool. You want to tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I have been in the tech industry a lot longer than this mug it conveys, right? Than it shows. And I've done various technology sales roles in both B2B and B2C. And when the industry tanked in 2009, I had the opportunity to leave a big corporate job that I really wasn't real happy at, to join a colleague, an associate who was moving from New York to Arizona to, he was starting up an IT consulting firm, moving his IT consulting firm. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Let's see if we can make a go of it. And when we started, there was three of us. It was me and the CEO and the other tech guy, because I definitely wasn't technical. And it was a really, the journey, and I can only call it that. It was quite a journey. We really didn't know what we were doing. I'd only worked for big corporations, so I had no idea what it was like to market and sell a small business services and not have any budget whatsoever, like none. So
Yeah.
I had to get very creative, very resourceful, like literally guerrilla marketing, and start really being involved in the community that we were in, starting small and then expanding kind of the rings of community. So, it was, I'm not even gonna lie, there was many hard days, many long days, but it was a really rewarding experience, having gone through all those challenges and those trials and tribulations. We did a lot of things wrong, but there were things in and amongst doing all those things wrong that we learned what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So
It's beautiful. I mean, because that's what we all as MSPs go through, and I will say that for everybody on this call, everybody listening via streaming, everybody should be damn proud of what you're doing, because what we do, when we wake up every morning, we have an incredible amount of responsibility on our shoulders, not only to protect our clients, but to grow and build a business that's sustainable and profitable and enjoyable for our staff and our clients. And sometimes it's frustrating. You pull your hair out, thus the reason why I have such little hair. And I constantly need to remind myself of something that I was taught by a business mentor many years ago, is just because, actually, I just said it wrong here. Oh man, it's Monday, right? So what she told me is, if it were easy, then everybody'd be doing it. If it were easy, then everybody'd be doing it. And I remind myself of that when we go through a lot of the challenges that do come along with being an MSP. But it makes us better. It builds character, right?
Yeah, and I really have to commend all of you who are still MSPs, because when I was doing it, the cyber threat landscape was nowhere near what it is today. And it was just really starting to explode, hence, ID Agent, and why my MSP was an early adopter of ID Agent and the dark web and the prospecting tool. But I mean, I have such an incredible amount of respect for those that are still, for you that are still MSPs today, because it's pretty scary out there, and the market is changing. The landscape has changed significantly, and I, having had the opportunity to watch all this, and my experience plus seeing what all of you are going through now, both good and bad, and yes, a lot of it now, because it's so visible and such a huge problem, it makes it easier, and I air quotes, it's never really easy, but it's easier to have those conversations with customers and prospects. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to buy anything, because we still have that hurdle, but at least they're aware that there's that problem out there. So I'm just floored every day at how the market has changed now with compliance and cyber liability insurance and the government, and the cyber warfare and the new tactics that threat actors are employing. In fact, I saw just this morning an article about how now we all think that like biometrics are safe, right? Biometrics on our laptops and our phones. Nope. Cyber criminals have found ways to get a hold of even our fingerprints.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. So,
well, it's just such an evolving industry that we're in, especially when you take a look at security. Because as we've become more sophisticated in our ability to defend and protect our clients, hackers and bad actors are becoming even more sophisticated, one-upping us, and then we have to one-up them. And it's a constant, battle. And just because what we've put in place today or yesterday or the day before doesn't mean that that's what we will continue to use going forward. We need to have those things in place, but we need to build and expand and grow the layers or add to the layer for that protection. Which is why we're here today. And before we get started, I just want to say, if anybody has questions as we go along, please feel free to throw them into the Q&A or chat. We will have a recording of this after the fact, because I know a lot of times you like to share this with other colleagues, whether it be other people within your organization, or you might have fellow MSPs that you want to share this with. So that typically we'll have an email that goes out within 24 hours with that information. But let's kick it off. I mean, cyber liability insurance is it's a hot topic, right? I mean, it's probably one of the hottest topics that we're talking about today.
Yeah, and full disclosure and disclaimer, I'm not an insurance agent. I don't play one on TV. I'm by no means an expert in cyber liability insurance, but I do talk to a lot of our partners, and I read a lot of trade industry articles, and I sort of have my finger on the pulse of what's going on. The other Dan Tomaszewski, our Kaseya's vice president of community, he is meeting with a lot of the major insurance providers, right? So Chubb and Travelers, insurance providers that are leading the way in making these changes that impact us all in one way, shape, or another. So there's a lot of things that are happening in the background, and so a lot of information gets shared. Dan shares this information with me, with our partners in our community. So one of the interesting things that I kind of came across was kind of the top 5 or so most important topics that you want to have when you are helping your clients comply with cyber liability insurance mandates, either trying to get them insured, help them get insured, or to keep their insurance, right, to help with better premiums. So more and more security awareness training has, if it's not mandatory, it's it will definitely help with premiums. So and you've heard me talk about Bullfish ID before, and I can't really stress enough how important security awareness training really is in this the ongoing compliance and with cyber liability insurance mandates. So that's what today's conversation is about. I just want to touch on the top 5, and I have 6 that I just want to share with the audience, that you can then share with your customers and your communities, to make sure that at the very least these are the most important topics that they are learning, being educated on, to help them meet the requirements that are going to become more and more stringent and more and more mandatory.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what today's session is going to be about. And we all know, right, it's not a question of if, but when. I think you and I were having a conversation earlier, Dan, about kind of you and I and most of us IT professionals that are in this day in and day out, we I don't know, not take it for granted, but we just kind of forget that there's still a lot of individuals out there that they don't, this isn't what they're living and breathing, right? So it's not common sense for them. And just as when you are teaching children, repetition is important.
Right.
Repetition on the messaging.
Mother of skill.
Yes. Yeah. So first topic, most important, identifying phishing attacks. And I'm sure everyone can guess why this is number 1. We've seen phishing attacks surge. It's really become a scourge. I didn't mean to rhyme, but that was kind of cool.
Love it.
And it's everything from the CEO gift card scams to really sophisticated brands spoofing the trusted contacts, the trusted sources, right? Account takeovers. You get an email from the CEO asking you to, we've got to pay this bill. It's urgent. It's past due. I need you to direct deposit it. Those kinds of things. And the level of sophistication of phishing attacks has just grown, significantly. No longer are the Nigerian prince scam days, right, where the punctuation grammar is bad and all that. So, critical number 1, teaching end users, employees, right, how to identify and spot a phishing email, and above that is, what's the process for how do they report it, right? How do they report it? What's the process for that? And, they need to know what the various attacks kind of look like, so they recognize them, right? The BEC, we've got smishing, vishing, quishing. I can't make this stuff up, I swear to God.
Right.
and in teaching about how to identify phishing attacks, what they look like, continue with that messaging. It helps empower employees and users to contribute to the security of the organization. So
and I just want to throw something out too, and I've talked about this before on previous webinars that we've done, but so I kind of feel like the grandpa telling the same story over and over, but it's important. I liken the computer that's in front of every end user as a vehicle that you're putting a teenager in. A teenager learning to drive this, couple ton vehicle, and we put them through training in order to get licensed, in order to drive on their own. It's a progressive there's progressive steps, right? They go through driver's education, they go through testing, then they go through a period of time that before they're pushed out of the nest on their own, driving on their own, that mom or dad need to be in the vehicle with them. And they could get into an accident. And if they're not properly educated, and they could get into an accident and cause serious damage to themselves and others. And I view that PC on the desktop, new employee comes into play, and here's your computer, whether it be a laptop or desktop, and we're just handing it over to them in lots of cases. And what happens in that situation is they could do damage to that organization. They could be doing things that could put that business under. And that's why that education is so critical. That's why we need to educate people for that. But then also it makes our lives easier from a support perspective, because the more we teach them, the fewer type of trouble tickets that could be coming in because of something they did. And it allows us to be more profitable. And it's all about, when in managed services, it's all about preventative, right? The preventative instead of reactionary. And so the more that we can focus on being preventative, then we're not bogging ourselves down. We're not having disruption in their workplace because it's reactionary.
Yeah, it's MSPs, your techs are spending at least 50% of their time cleaning up mistakes by employees when these kinds of things happen, right? And
Right.
there's still like a good quarter of the small business population that doesn't realize, they have no idea that cyber attacks would cost them money. Like it just, right. And if you think about how many new small businesses start up every single day, obviously it's a great opportunity, big opportunity for an MSP, but that's a lot. That's right. A lot. So, it was funny. You tell that story. I was thinking about that story. I don't know, like last week or something. I was like, oh yeah, I remember Dan. He tells a story about, it's like teaching a kid to drive a car. So yeah. I've heard your story enough times that I remember it.
There you go.
The message is sunk in that story.
Repetition is the mother of skill.
It is. And sometimes I feel like I'm kind of a broken record too. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if your customers, your prospects, our community only remembers like these 5 things, then I feel like I've at least made an impact for good, right? First one is identifying phishing attacks. Second one, securing passwords. And I'm sure that everyone on the call out there has their own, when I said that they have their own nightmare story that, is probably recent, and they're like, oh God. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and it's still, I spend a lot of time on the road, and I'm in airplanes, and I'm having conversations with business people, and I ask them, questions, and I try not to be too intrusive, but still, I that's what I do. I ask questions, and I have conversations, and like just shocked and appalled at even enterprise organizations, the flippancy towards passwords.
Right.
I'm like, oh my Lord. Yeah, so securing passwords, right? Second most important security awareness training topic. How to secure passwords, password recycling, definitely don't want to do that. MFA all day, right?
Yeah.
Pros and cons of password manager, password policies, all these critical things and why they are important.
Well, with the password thing, there was something interesting that I found on Twitter the other day. And basically, this woman in IT security was posting, an educational topic about the use of the same password for multiple sites. We all know that that's a no-no. However, because of MFA, sometimes people feel, or just, it's common sense that, well, if I have MFA in place, why can't I use the same password? Because then they still can't get in because of MFA. However, she posted a screenshot from over the weekend from the United States Postal Service. And what it said, and I do have this posted in the Everything MSP Facebook group, but what it indicated is this screenshot said that we are currently experiencing an issue with our two-factor authentication. Because you put in the correct username and password, we're going to let you proceed. So here, because they were having some kind of issue with MFA, they've disabled it, allowing you to get in without that. And that's a problem right there, that if it gets disabled and you are using the same username and password for everything you go to, it's still a flaw. You cannot count on something such as MFA to be that catch-all or that excuse. Let's face it, it's really an excuse for not wanting to use different passwords. And I always like to say is the easier that we make things on ourselves, the easier we're making it for bad actors. Yeah. And if we have to jump through, if it's a pain in the butt, then we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And look, if you think about the three pillars in its simplistic forms, right? The three pillars of a good cybersecurity strategy, like people, processes, and technology, right? You can have technology, but still at the end of the day, you can't, shut email off. You can't rely on MFA to work all the time, right? So at the end of the day, you still have to rely on end users, employees to make the right decisions. And they, outside of the malicious stuff, but if they're educated, then they're going to make the right decisions, at least hopefully, and in theory, right? All right, third most important topic, securing data, understanding data privacy, why you shouldn't be sharing information, why you shouldn't be emailing the wrong Dan Tomaszewski emails, like somebody might have done accidentally. Oops. No, yeah, it wasn't sensitive information, but right. I was in a hurry, no excuse. But yeah, why that's bad, right? Why that's not a good thing. And how, if they're in certain industries or certain state regulations, right? Anything that the government requires them to any controls that the government requires, right? These are important topics. And also, I want to just kind of step back here for a second. These are also, topics that demonstrate why the services, the tools, and the expertise that you, the MSP, are providing is important and worth the budget, right? Demonstrating the absolute value. This is why, right? This is why. Educate them, educate them, educate them. And yes, it's going to be repetitive. But, these, again, at the very least, these, top 5 topics, not only will they help them be more compliant and adhere to cyber liability insurance, but it should also, help facilitate and demonstrate the value of the controls that you as the MSP are helping them to put in place, the policies and the education, right? And a lot of people don't know what PII is or why, sharing, any information about an individual, even if it may seem innocuous to one person, it could very well be a piece of information that threat actors can use to create all kinds of havoc.
Right.
Yeah.
And you brought something up as far as as far as educating the client and helping them to understand the investment that's required. I always like to recommend using examples that not as scare tactics, but as a realistic understanding that this happens to small and mid-sized companies. So use actual examples that are relatable to who you're speaking to, because we can easily grab stories that are enterprise related, or we get some of these calculators that show the potential loss in an incident, and sometimes those numbers are so substantial that when you're speaking to a small business owner, they look at that, they'll look at what the loss is, and they'll say, well, we don't even do that in sales. And so it's hard for them to understand it and comprehend, because it is such a large thing that in their eyes, they think it's far-fetched. So if you can grab stories that are much more relatable, much more geared towards the size of their organization, it's going to stick with them, and it's going to capture their attention in a much better way.
Yeah. And, securing data and understanding data privacy, it's a common requirement for cyber insurance policies anyways. So, this is definitely an important one to have in your security awareness training course options. Securing your devices, right? Best practices, best practices, best practices. Securing your devices. Why you need to lock your laptop when you get up and leave, or all of those that are out there, right? And it's now, again, with the blurred lines between personal and work, and there's still the work from home environment and hybrids, it's even more critical now. So again, kind of a no-brainer for us, but right. Not for everyone in the world. So was this 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth? Yeah, fourth topic. Okay. On to the fifth one, clean desk policy. Important one, right? I feel like this one has been talked about a lot, but it's still an important topic to, helping your clients be compliant and demonstrate adherence to the mandates that cyber liability insurance is requiring and requesting. And yes, there are still people out there that put passwords on sticky notes. I swear to God, I hear it all the time.
It is amazing. I've been into prospective clients, and you walk through and you see that. And obviously it's scary, but it does give you an understanding of the amount of work that you have in front of you and ahead of you from an education perspective. And that's why I like, when doing a visit, whether it be a site survey, or even just an initial meeting, to be able to walk through and hear from others, but also just see what's happening, is very beneficial in your steps to propose a solution for them.
Yeah, and think about this too. If you are sending out through a security awareness training, this messaging that historically would have had to come from our mouths as an MSP, as the IT service provider, as the trusted advisor, right? It's, now you can send it out en masse to all the end users and save your voice, right? So right. It's saving you from you individually having to repeat this message. Obviously you probably still will on some instances, but yeah, at least it's still going out there. All right, so this is the sixth one. I added this, and not all security awareness training tools have the ability to stay on top of any new mandates and compliance requirements as they come out, right? Because the market is changing so quickly. This is an important one, and securing software vulnerabilities, patching, right? and other applications. Sometimes, you know, there's if there's a dev ops situation, right? Why secure code, all of that. So, you know, it may not be applicable to all, well, patching is, but, you know, like secure coding may not be applicable to all organizations. But having a tool that gives you the ability to maybe create, you know, kind of customized on the fly, a training that would stay on top of new mandates as they come out, is really becoming a key feature that a lot of our partners and MSPs as a whole, and even organizations are looking for in their security awareness training, right? Because we can all agree that the market, the mandates, they're changing very quickly. And, you know, and sometimes these insurance providers, like it can change from one, you know, policy questionnaire to the other. So, you know, that's becoming a really important feature of security awareness training. So having the ability to kind of create something customized on the fly, send it out, and stay on top of any new mandates that come out is becoming a real key competitive differentiator, right? And it's helping MSPs to really stay on top of and kind of ahead of the curve almost as much as possible when it comes to, you know, mandates and whatnot. But yeah, so that's, you know, if you're using something, you know, or you're looking for a tool, look for something that gives you that, you know, easy customization capability, right? Not something that's a heavy lift for you or your techs, you know, a tool that's, you know, you can build it and send it out very easy. Oh, so those are the top 5 plus the 6th bonus one. And I love this. I love this image. I'm a big Office fan.
Yeah,
So I try to incorporate
that's awesome.
the Office memes as often as possible, right? Because it's just, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I was listening to a discussion actually from our Dan Tomaszewski about, you know, the conversations that he was having with insurance providers. And what we're seeing is that, you know, cyber, you know, the policies, the adjusters, they're seeing like they're pushing back, right? They're pushing back. They're canceling. They're doubling. They're tripling the premiums, right? So, you know, these mandates that they have in place are really critical, and there's going to be more restrictions in place coming next year, like 2023. Mark my words, there will be more restrictions in place, and literally you're going to have to show that security awareness training is being done, and above that, you're going to have to start, you know, being able to demonstrate, okay, so these are the top 10 individuals in this organization that are passing, right, that are taking the training, that are passing it. And then also these are the top 10 that are failing. They're failing these tests, they're failing the training. And you know, so that in conjunction with like the NIST framework, this all has to be documented, demonstrated. You have to show, prove, you know, this is the tool that I'm using. You can't just say, yeah, I'm doing security awareness training. No, they need like documented proof, and the documentation requirements are going to become way more stringent and way more, you know, complex and involved, you know, right? So all of the efforts are going to need to be documented, or, you know, they're facing a loss of insurance. They'll be canceled. They'll be dropped. So it's, you know, it's really not an optional thing anymore. So, you know, you heard it here. 2023 is going to be, you know, more involved, more heavily regulated around the policies and the mandates that will be allowed to have people insured.
Absolutely. And, you know, and you have to have the right tools. You got to have the tools. I mean, it's one thing to say, you know, hey, I'm going to put this in place. Like you're saying, you got to back up what you say you're doing, but you also want it to be something that administratively you don't have to spend a lot of time, keeping track of all that, right? You want to be able to, at a click of a button, pull up a report and have that, not only because of the amount of time it takes to do that, but also, if a client says, hey, I need a report on this now, you want to be able to, respond to the request in a very quick fashion.
Yeah, bingo. That's exactly it, right? Because what you heard, great, and that's great. What you heard was, that sounds like a lot of extra work for me, for my techs, and that's, that's exactly what the potential could be if you have the wrong tool. And I don't mean like the wrong tool, but it kind of, yes, right? So it's maybe not so much about having the wrong tool, but maybe the tool that doesn't fit the needs of what you are going to have to provide, right? Reporting on the fly, extensive reporting on the fly, the ability to customize training based on new mandates that come out or new threats that are specific to an industry or a customer, right? And the ability to document, each mandate as it comes out in a way with a tool that does not create more work for an already overburdened, MSP and, his or her team. So it's a great segue.
That's awesome.
Yes, no, that was completely unplanned. That was wonderful. No, so I mean, look, at the end of the day, as long as you have a security awareness training tool in place, that's good, right? We at ID Agent, we have a great tool now because we've really, been working very hard behind the scenes to make it kind of ready for the new wild west that is, the government, the compliance, all these mandates, and have it be a tool that is easy for our MSP partners to use and roll out and administer. And we've added a lot of new features and things in the last, I don't know, I'd say 3 quarters to really make it so that it is a tool that fits the needs of today's MSP and tomorrow's MSP and the needs of your customers. We've gone out and partnered with experts in compliance and cyber liability insurance to create training courses and phishing kits that you have a library to choose from, but we've also made it so that you can customize it as well, right? You can customize the phishing tests. You can take a template that we have and create your own, or you can modify what we already have in there. Super easy to do, right? 1, 2, 3 clicks, push it out. Same thing with the training. You can create customized training. You can, from scratch, you can send out training that you may have on hand from another tool, push it out through Bullfish ID. White labeling options for the sending profiles, for the URL. So lots of things that you can do, right? Plus the reporting, right? So we have really done a lot to beef up and enhance the reporting and also make it look prettier, right? So, that wasn't, when we first started with Bullfish ID, I don't know, way back a couple of years, reporting kind of was like, it wasn't as important as it is now. And we've recognized that. So our reporting has really been enhanced. But again, it's literally, a click of a button. If you need some, detailed reporting, you can do that. You can also automate it. So, you can be like, okay, every month, this is a report, send it out to the client. We've made it so there's, if you have customers, like a co-managed opportunity, right? Yeah. Commits, and your champion within that commits is a little, more I want to do things, they're more hands-on. You can delegate the access of setting up these campaigns and rolling it out to your point of contact within that co-managed opportunity. So lots of different things that you can do to make it as customized to your needs as the MSP, your bandwidth capabilities, your time, which is, you know, little to none, and also for your customer. So,
well, I just want to jump in real quick on the customization. This, I think, is something that, you know, when I've spoken with other MSPs, is an overlooked diamond in the rough. I mean, it's huge to be able to customize some training for them and deliver it with the same methodology that you're delivering any of the other that pre-made videos and training. And you know, because let's face it, you know, there's a lot of uniquenesses. You know, there's a whole bunch when it comes to training that, you know, across the board, you know, it's a one size fits all. But then you have those specific things that are unique to that business. And, you know, sometimes you think, well, this is just too cookie cutter. I really need to have something that's more geared towards, you know, this client or this industry. And you get the best of both worlds here because you can customize it and have something unique. And it's way more than just saying, well, I'm recording a video and I'm just going to share the video, right? Because it becomes part of the training structure. And that's just huge.
Yeah, it is. And if, you know, if you kind of step outside the cyber security box, there's, you know, there's so much more that you can do with it if you're thinking about the customization, right? So like if you think about the, you know, like new employee onboarding, or I mean, even HR policies, if you wanted to do that, any
Right.
other type of training that would be repetitive for your team, send that out, right? That would be. And here's the other thing with the training, with the one of the features of Bullfish ID, you can create an individual training portal for each end user. So it would have all of those trainings that they've taken, that they need to take. It's all listed in that portal for them to log into, so they can go back and reference, for example, if it's a video on how to, you know, reach SharePoint or set up your, you know, your specific boxes in your email, or, you know, those types of things. In addition to, of course, security awareness training, so they can go back and reference it. But it will also, you know, track the trainings that they were assigned and didn't take, and the time for them to take it as expired, right? Because you're going to need to show documentation of that too.
And the thing there is, the value proposition is so much more than just, you know, phishing training, cybersecurity training, because the fact that you can deliver content, like you said, that it could be the new onboarding, it could be, you know, just how to do this or that. And when we're having the proper business discussions with business owners, business leaders, that's going to capture their attention, right? You know, and, you know, we've talked a lot about this, is that, you know, we need to continue to move away from the blinky lights and all the technical things. We need to be having those business conversations, because that will separate you from your competitors in your market. And let's face it, people talk, you know, if a company's, you know, you got a business owner that's with fellow friends that are business owners, or they're golfing or at their party, you know, people talk about their business, and they talk about how they have a certain training program in place to, you know, help educate their employees. And you know, that's just another way to try to get foot in door in another opportunity.
Yeah, and do it in a way that can be automated, right? Saving time.
Right.
And all that. Yeah. So I know we're kind of getting short on time. One thing that I'm really excited about, that is one of the newest features that we just added. We've got a lot of workflow integrations with some of our other tools and at the Kaseya tool belt, but the newest integration that we have with another tool allows it so that if you're sending phishing tests through Bullfish ID and you have Graphis, you no longer have to whitelist. So if you think about all the time that is spent with other tools, whitelisting these, right? And if it doesn't get done right or something gets messed up, then it's going to affect campaign deliverability and all of these, not to mention it used to be like the red screen of death. But this is a huge thing, and I'm super excited. I nerd out on this. The drop a fish feature is really great, and everybody who has both is super excited about it. So we've got some other integrations, but that's really the most exciting one, I think. There's other, really cool integrations if you're using other tools, but that's a conversation for another day. But the drop a fish is really super exciting.
That's cool
stuff. Yeah. Powered services, we have a great program. It's a partner support program. And we're enhancing that because, well, we, I don't know if you heard, but we have acquired Datto. So the good news, we think it's the good news. The good news is that we've not only have we adopted, but we have enhanced the Datto partner program. So our powered services, our customer support program, this is going to be the most awesome thing ever. So lots of exciting things on the horizon. And there's one other thing that I would like to just ask anyone who's interested. We would like to, if you are having success and you love, using ID Agent, Dark Web ID, or Bullfish ID, or really any of the security products that are that are part of the Kaseya portfolio. If you would be willing to participate in a case study, it's a Zoom call. We will, reward you for your time. As a thank you, we will send you a gift card. So I just want to kind of throw that out there to anyone who I don't know, $50, $100, if that's worth 30 minutes of your time. Let us know, let me know, reach out to you. Reach out to me, reach out to Dan. He can, pass you along to me. Yeah. And we would really like to hear what's working well for you. And also if you have like any feedback, right? If you want to share a success, then say, oh, by the way, there's something else that I just want to share a little bit of feedback. This might help make the product better. Please, right? Let us know. So yeah, that's my ask of everyone in the community. So yeah, we would love to hear the success that you are having. Love to hear feedback in general, but love to hear the success that you are having. So we have a poll question. If anyone would like more information about Bullfish ID or ID Agent Dark Web ID, if you'd like a demo, you just want to talk to a specialist, we do have exclusive everything MSP pricing. So if you want to take advantage of that pricing, and we are running the exclusive everything MSP pricing is it's 2 months free and 25% off. So
wow,
awesome.
Yeah, that's huge.
MSP. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We appreciate all you. And look, there's been a lot of stuff going on. It's been, so what I also just kind of want to leave everyone with before I give you back, a little bit of time on your day, is that, at Kaseya, we want to make sure that that your voices have been heard, and we've made a lot of changes. We're going to continue to make changes. So really exciting things have happened. Good things have happened. More to come. And if you have any challenges or frustrations or something's not working, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Dan Tomcheski. You can reach out to anyone on my team, and we will, we are here to make sure that your voice is heard, that that whatever the problem is, it will get addressed. So
that's awesome.
We are here for all of you.
I've seen a lot of positive comments about the changes you guys have made, and that's exciting because you guys have brought together two great companies, and I mean, obviously you've brought together a lot more than two companies, but those are the two beasts, right?
Yeah.
And I just love to see the changes that you guys are making, especially with the integrations, and just the ability to have one talk to another, and things to help save time and to be more profitable.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the executive level, I can tell you at the executive level, we are doing the things that will help your businesses grow, right? We've invested now an entire team, over 50 people, and growing to make sure that your needs are met. So stay tuned for more good things to come.
Awesome. And I haven't seen any questions come through. If anybody does have any questions, if you want to sneak them in before we head out for the day, feel free to do so. Amelia's got her contact information on here. There's her LinkedIn as well as her email address. And so if you do have any questions that come up after the fact, feel free to reach out to Amelia. And Amelia, you're traveling everywhere. You're all over the place. So opportunity to bump into Amelia somewhere at an IT conference is pretty high. So
Pretty good. Not hard to find.
right. And I'm sure you'd love to, put names or faces with names, out there to meet those MSPs.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. If you got something on your chest, come talk to me. Any of us, come talk to us. We're here for you. So
and there might even be a free T-shirt in the.
There might be. So the favorite one is the Get IT Done.
I love that. That's
And
awesome.
I know for a fact that at the event that I will be at next week, if there will be those shirts. So come by, come find me, come get you a Get IT Done shirt.
That's awesome. Well, no questions at this point, but if you do think of some questions, please let Amelia know. As I mentioned in the beginning, we will have the replay of this coming out within 24 hours. Please feel free to share that with other people in your organization, as well as fellow MSPs. The beauty of our channel, the IT channel, is sharing, and it's just one of the things that I love about our channel. Amelia, any parting words?
I think I've covered everything. So wishing everyone a safe and secure rest of the week and prosperous rest of the month.
Awesome. Thank you again for your time and talent. We appreciate it, Amelia. Everybody who joined us, thank you as well. Hope everybody has a great rest of your day. And until next time, peace out. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.